Hello, everybody. Dorothy here. We're going to talk about the full moon in the sign of Capricorn. It's on July 13th, 2:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Now, this forecast is written out as a blog on my website, and you can get that right in your inbox if you join my newsletter email list. It's right on my website. Go do that. All right, I'm going to talk about this full moon in the sign of Capricorn, and I love to share my screen so you're able to see what I'm looking at. So this full moon in Capricorn, here it is, July 13th, 2:37 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Find your own time zone. You'll have to make that adjustment yourself. I'm not going to talk about the house placements because we're all in a different place on the planet. So we don't have to pick that apart. But I am going to pick apart what this full moon is reflecting back to us. What is it that we're paying attention to? And what is the energy that we get to use with this? Okay. So we can see that it is very close to Pluto. We all have heard that it's a super full moon, and that means it's very close to the planet. So when it does rise up off the eastern horizon, wherever you are, when you're looking at it really close to this date, the moon's going to be massive and it's just going to be gorgeous and beautiful. And so always check that out because it's fantastic to connect with nature and with the things that we're astrologically talking about. Go out there and bond with it because you can really connect better that way. But that's the moon in Capricorn. That's the moon in an earth sign. I have that in my natal chart. So I'm asking you to go out and really connect with the moon physically. So go check that out. Just see whenever moon rises for you in your time zone. All right. I need to talk a little slower. Mouth is still sore from some surgery. All right. So moon is with Pluto. That also indicates that we're having some significant power issues, some significant changes. And so let's, I want to really dig into that. So I'm going to grab my notes. So super full moon. The energy of Capricorn is beautiful too, because we think of it as rules and regulations and structure and foundations, which it is. It's also wisdom and time, right? And following the rules. So let's share that healing wisdom of these planets today. All right. So what is this full moon revealing to us? So first off, whenever the moon is in the sign of Capricorn, people consider that very detrimental, right? It's not the best place for the moon to naturally express itself because Capricorn is the opposite energy of Cancer, and they don't feel the same. However, that doesn't mean you're not a sensitive person. I am. But the moon in Cancer is very sensitive and emotional and cuddly. It can be really psychic, but it's also hypersensitive, and it can feel very vulnerable and even defensive. So the Cancer moon is like that, but we're talking about the opposite energy. So the moon is all of those qualities. And now she has to move her energy through the sign of Capricorn. All right. Because she can't express herself fully in her own energy because she's not in her own sign. So in this sign, which is opposite, considered detrimental, I'm just going to put air quotes out there, we have this feeling that we can use this. I want us to use this skillfully. So the moon in Capricorn qualities is being logical and practical, focused on goals based around your family and your security and, your home center, what makes you feel safe. So you're able to take care of yourself and nurture your family. This is what the moon in Capricorn represents. And it's cautious and hardworking and really, really ambition. It's a earthy, grounded energy, which is fine because we have had an awful lot go on, especially lately. I look back at videos I've done from 10 years ago, and I've been, I say the same thing. There's always a lot going on, and it never ends because it's just how we are as humans, right? So there's always a lot for us to go through and a lot for us to process. So we can be very, very supportive to ourselves and to our family by, whether you like Capricorn energy or not, but by just taking some time to find a way to ground yourself, feel more grounded, and feel more in control. What does that mean, though? Right? We have to unplug. Definitely need to do that and look at your life, where you are, and what you can do about it. Those are really important things to do with that moon in Capricorn. So, and that's some of it. Now, there's another understanding of the moon in Capricorn, of actually the energy of Capricorn. The sign of Capricorn is a feminine sign, and which is receptive. And that holds a lot of wisdom, a lot of wisdom. All right. Because Capricorn is one of the later zodiac signs. And there's a lot of feminine wisdom in that. So I always love, here's my grandmother card. I always love to relate it to, I'm going to stop my share because I'm not pointing at the chart at all. I always love to relate it to grandmother. So grandmother energy. So Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, that feels masculine. Saturn's a masculine planet, which means it is outgoing. It's known as father time, right? And that's really true. But I am always drawn to this because I am a female. I identify as a female, and my moon's in Capricorn, and I'm a grandmother, and it just feels like that. I just feel this card is really strong with this full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So one thing I'll ask you to do, and we'll get back to some of the other details of how we can use this moon Pluto stuff. It's like, why not tap into your own grandmother energy and that wisdom and that guidance? And it doesn't matter how you identify. We all have a deeper, wise woman in our world or even within us. So really connect to that, because that connects us to the security of the planet, of the earth in all forms. So one of the easiest ways to do this is just to get outside and get your bare feet on the ground. Now, you don't have to walk too far, especially if you need your shoes. I'm losing my headset. Especially if you need your shoes, but I don't care. Get outside, take your shoes off, get your feet on the ground, get them in the sand, get them in the ocean, whatever it is you need to do that while we're in this new moon energy, because that can make life really, it's physically showing us how to be grounded. And that's something that I think that's really important for us to do. So I hope you're able to do that. All right. So now that we also have the moon hanging out with Pluto, we have, let me go grab that chart now. Here we go. Here's that moon hanging out with Pluto. And when we have that moon hanging out with Pluto, that really does engage us in a lot of different things, so because Pluto indicates there is a deeper meaning to something and a deeper transformation happening. And I hear this in all the channelers out there. Pluto's been in Capricorn for 14 years now. And as it moves through those final couple of degrees of the sign of Capricorn, it's really a collective energy. So collectively, what do we believe? What's shifting? How can I go through that? What structures and foundations have been in place that are dwindling and falling apart? Capricorn is an energy that is in charge of governments. And we've seen governments, laws, policies, and we've seen a lot of that going through major upheavals right now. Right. So Pluto is revealing, globally, nationally, globally, and maybe even internally for you, it's revealing a lot of the darkness that is coming to the surface. So darkness around power and control, what no longer works. And we need to allow these things to come to the surface so we can process it. And that way it creates space for what's new. All right. Things do need to break down so something new can come forward. Just like our seasons, that's typically what happens to the seasons. So this is truly, we are really truly in a very deep evolutionary period, collectively and personally. And you're going to want to see what that is in your own chart too. Pluto's just kind of been hanging out around 26, 27 degrees for the whole year so far, a little bit of last year as well. So it's going to stay there, and it's going to be in there for quite some time. But, that's just some of the bigger things that we have going on. So let me, I got to find my chart. There it is. I lost my chart. So I want to make sure I'm sharing what I'm trying to share here. There we go. I want to share something else that goes on with this. And I talk about this all the time in my Patreon. And it's the lunar gestation phase. And I have it all written out on the website. So I want you to go read that, because I don't want to go into that too deeply, but because it goes over people's heads. Lunar gestation phase is just a cycle that starts with the new moon. It takes about 3 years. We're halfway through it. At every full moon, we're halfway through a new cycle. But that aside, I want you to see what this full moon is related to 2 other charts before it. And so here's the new moon we had on January 13th, 2021. And this was super tight. This was just a few days, obviously, if you can remember, after January 6th, the insurrection in Washington, D.C. And we can see here is the new moon, right? I mean, it was very close to Pluto, closer than what we got going on right now. This is a new moon. Now, new moons initiate new things. Well, I mean, we all saw what was going on before this new moon, but by the time we got to this a few days after that big event, but that doesn't mean that event meant anything to you. It could be that there was absolutely something going on around January 13th for you, 2021, that is starting to show up again today with the full moon. So look back at this date. There was definitely something very big and significant happening at this time. Globally, nationally, we know what all that was. Did that impact you personally? And if it wasn't that incident, what was begun? So look back. This is why it's so important to do journals, at least at the new moon, okay? Just in the full moon, just how you're feeling, what's going on in your world. You don't have to do this. It's hard. I know it's hard to journal, but that kind of thing is really important. So 9 months after that new moon, we had the first quarter, and this is what it looks like right here. Pluto was at 20. Let me make sure I'm still sharing the right screen. Yes, I am. Good. Pluto, the moon's at 20 and Pluto's at 24. This first quarter moon was October 12, 2021. So you can look at that as well in relationship to the new moon, January 13th, 2021. We get to this point, October 12, 2021. There is this energy around something is struggling to survive, or it is taking us a lot of extra effort to make something, to create something, and to move it forward. And typically, especially since it's Capricorn and we don't have a lot of time, then that means some things will be put, like in the old saying goes, we'll put some things to the back burner. So we have more time to focus on whatever it is Capricornian that we initiated January 13th, 2021. And now in October, 9 months later, 2021, we are feeling it, right? We're feeling that would have created some stress around that. Then we get to the full moon, which is now July 13th. This is full illumination, full disclosure, everything about whatever the main theme is that has been running in this time frame from that date, January 2021, October 2021, July 2022. All of those time frames should be linked in some way to you and Capricorn energy, rules, regulations, structure, foundations. Am I secure? Do I feel secure? Is my family secure? What do I need to do to make that happen? Now, this is not based on fear, because I could start to feel that in some of us. This is not to be based on fear. This is just to look at the facts. That's what the moon in Capricorn is about. It's not overly emotional, because it wants the facts and it wants the details and it wants you to work with them. That's what this full moon in Capricorn is about. Whoa, that was a lot. It makes a sextile. It's a separating aspect, but it is a sextile to the south node, and a trine to the north node and Uranus. So stay open, stay flexible, but look at what you can do to make yourself and your loved ones feel more secure. That's what we need to do. And I'm going to leave us with that. And again, Grandmother Earth, get out there and ground. Thank you, everybody. Blessings. See you next time. Namaste.